Hey guys, so I'm going to be talking about today downloadable music charts for worship. Now, as I was researching and looking at all these different companies and all these different softwares, really the three that stuck out to me that were specifically good for church music worship was Lifeway Worship, Song Select, and Praise Charts. As I was looking at all these different resources, I felt like these three were the best equipped to help meet our needs in the music ministry. And I'm going to go into a little bit more detail as to why these three are the best softwares to use and the benefits that they give us. The first one is Lifeway Worship, lifewayworship.com. I've actually used this software a little bit in the time that God's given me as a music minister. So with Lifeway Worship, it's free to sign up. So this software is actually great for context of where you not only have a praise team, but maybe you have like a small orchestra, a couple different auxiliary instruments that you like to include in your worship services. So this resource also has multi-platform charts. So what I mean by that is it has lead sheets, it has vocal charts, it has chord charts, etc. The pros for this software: sometimes you run into softwares that give you many things, but when you get into their charts, they may have some issues notation-wise. Lifeway, all the charts I've used from that are professionally done. They do a great job with all their charts. There's really none to any musical errors. And this site also has immense resources for you. The cons for this software is that some softwares give us, like, you pay a yearly membership and they give you all access to all this different stuff. You can just download it. Well, the thing is with Lifeway, you have to individually pay for each chart. And then also, you can't download these charts onto an on-stage software. So an example of that is Song Select has this software that they're in conjunction with called OnSong. So if you have iPads or different stuff like that, you can actually download the files from Song Select in that software on your iPad, and it gives your musicians that access to edit charts, to highlight different things, to make marks in rehearsal, to help better equip them for Sunday. Lifeway doesn't have a software that's in conjunction with them that they can do that. And then also, with some of the charts that Lifeway has, some to most of the songs are in only like 3 specific keys. So if you're looking at those charts and you see that, and maybe the keys given, they don't fit the vocalist that you have, that's the problem that Lifeway has. So an additional unique feature about Lifeway is that for most of their songs, they'll have a listening demo. So your musicians and you can actually go in, listen to a new song in the original key, and kind of gives your team a basis for how the song's going to be before you practice it. The second software that I use right now is Song Select by CCLI. So Song Select is free to sign up. The thing that's different about them compared to Lifeway is they actually do have different yearly payments, and without that, with that payment throughout the year, you have all this stuff that you're able to download, be able to access. There's 2 options for the yearly payment. So the first one is advanced. It's $190 per year. It gives you copyright songs, audio previews, lyrics, Transposition, so they actually have every key available, so you can transpose any key that you need. And then chord charts and lead sheets. The second option they have is the premium. So this is their best package. It's $210 a year. You get all the benefits like the advanced. The only thing that's different is you get vocal charts added, and you get this thing called Chord Pro Download. So like I talked about earlier, Song Select has this software that they're in conjunction with called OnSong. So this can be downloaded onto any iPad, any phone, computer, and you can actually download the files onto the software. Musicians can highlight, can edit, can change keys in rehearsal, so it allows them to be even more prepared for Sunday. So that's a great feature with that. This resource also has multi-format charts, so like Lifeway, it has lead sheets, chord charts, vocal charts, etc. Song Select also has a wide variety of songs. When I looked at it, I believe the number was 230,000 songs, and they're continually adding to that as new songs come out. And this resource also connects us with organizational platforms such as Planning Center Online. So it gives you the basis of, if you have that organizational tool and you're doing rotations or different stuff like that, you can actually put these charts in the Planning Center, and it gives your people time to be able to practice at home before you get together for rehearsal and for Sunday service. The only con with this software, and I kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier, is that this software, Song Select, some of the charts that are given has a little bit more notation issues that you may have to fix. So for example, their vocal charts, the soprano, alto, tenor, is all on a blank staff. So normally you'd see the soprano, alto on the treble, you'd see the tenor, bass, and the bass clef. But for Song Select, they do it all on one clef. And so that's kind of hard because you have to go in and for some context, you need to put both on a grand staff and make it like it's normally written for that. And then sometimes there's notation issues that you have to fix with harmonies or different stuff like that. Also, if you're in a context that has a small orchestra, Song Select's not going to have charts that are orchestral. So that's another con with this software. The last one that I saw that was great for church worship, church music, is praise charts. I've done a little bit of using this software. Again, it's free to sign up, has a wide variety of songs. This software has unlimited keys, but it's only for chord charts. So again, if you're wanting to get a vocal chart or an orchestral chart or anything like that, same thing like Lifeway, it's going to have select keys, so you won't have unlimited keys with that, just the chord chart. This software does have unlimited formats of charts like vocal charts, lead sheets, chord charts, etc., like I've talked about earlier. And this resource, like Lifeway, it does provide orchestral charts, but again, the only drawback is it gives a few selected keys for this section. Just like Song Select, Praise charts can actually be downloaded onto a on-stage software that Praise Charts has called Stage Chart. So again, you can upload that onto your iPad, computers, iPhones, and you can, musicians can edit, you can make adjustments in there for your team, and it helps them in rehearsing. So one additional aspect that I thought was really neat about Praise Charts, it's something they just added, was guided feedback. So what this is if you've done any kind of work with Finale software, it has that playback feature. So Praise Charts, with the charts that you've downloaded, it will actually play your specific part, and it will use your microphone feature on whatever you're using, your computer, iPhone, iPad, and as you play along, it will show you the places that you've messed up. So it will help you even more in your preparation for Sunday for us to give the Lord our best each week. So I thought that was a pretty neat feature with that. The pros of this resource is the charts are professionally done, just like Lifeway, and there's little to no notation errors on their charts. The con for this resource is just like Lifeway, you have to pay for each individual chart. And for everything except chord charts, you're going to have few select keys with that. So in conclusion, as I was doing my research for this project, there were a lot of softwares out there. Example was like MuseScore, but theirs wasn't necessarily designated for church music. They had church music plus genres, styles that weren't necessarily appropriate for a church context. And so as I was researching and praying about it, I felt like Lifeway Worship, Song Select, and Praise Charts were the three best in preparing and giving downloadable musical charts for your teams. So again, thank you so much for your time, and God bless you.